Today I'm going to fill in this little piece of rock cut here. I'm also going to patch up this hole. I use ordinary plaster of Paris. Add the water first and then dump the plaster in it. When you stir it, just get rid of all the lumps. Don't go too fast because then it will whip lots of bubbles into it. And we don't want too many of those. A few are okay. The mix ratio is 2 to 1. 2 parts plaster to 1 part water. Actually, that's just a little bit runny, so I'm going to add a few more little grains of plaster here. That's better. So that it sticks better to the bits I've already done, I'm going to pre-wet them. Also, the bond between the plaster and the cardboard isn't particularly good, so I'm going to throw some white glue on here. Carving tools are quite simple. I use an old chisel and a craft knife. And the putty knife also comes in handy. Okay, now it's started to set up. First thing I do is take the knife and I cut some grooves on it. This rock always has cracks in a variety of locations, different directions. I don't want to go all the way through. And now the chisel, I'm using basically a stabbing motion, getting rid of the excess plaster. What I want to do is leave it looking as though the rock has been carved by much bigger tools than I'm using. This texture here is not what I'm looking for. It's still a little bit too wet. So I'm going to wait a minute. Okay, now I think it should work. As you can see, as I stab it, the face breaks off, leaving rough plaster below it. Let's clear the drainage ditch, because I don't want anything in there. keep going until there's none of the original surface remaining. I also want to be careful not to leave it too uniform, because as the real rock would be hacked into with the major machinery, it would break off in random directions. As the plaster starts to set up, I can start to hit it just a little bit harder. Get rid of the chips so I can see what I'm doing. Most of the pieces that I chip off end up in riverbeds or as ground cover. So I just keep going until I've removed everything that doesn't look like a rock. Final step is to get the track gauge and make sure it's far enough back from the track. Some areas are a little bit close. And I am now happy with the way that looks, so I'm going to call that done.